There's this invisible technology that connects our physical world to the digital one. It's called RFID, and I bet you've used it dozens of times today without even thinking about it.
Yep, it's that magic that lets you just fly through highway tolls. A little tag on your car talks to the toll booth and you don't even have to slow down. And, it's also what's hiding inside your hotel key card. You just give it a simple tap, the door unlocks, no more fumbling around for a metal key. And hey, for all you athletes out there, it's what gives you that super precise finish time in a race. There's a tiny chip, usually on your shoe or your bib, that logs the exact moment you cross the start and finish lines.
So, yeah, it's pretty much everywhere, making our lives just a little bit easier. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how does this invisible technology actually work? Let's decode the signal.
All right, let's dive in. First step, how RFID actually works.
Okay, so at its most basic, RFID uses radio waves to identify things without any wires. The whole system has two parts. You've got a reader that sends out a radio signal. Think of it as a shout, and a tag that echoes back with its unique information. That lets us identify and track that object. Simple as that. And believe me, this is a huge leap forward from older tech, like the good old barcode. See, barcodes need a direct line of sight, and you can only scan one at a time. With RFID, though, the reader doesn't even need to see the tag, and it can scan hundreds of them at once, even if they're buried inside a cardboard box. Now, these RFID tags come in two main flavors. You've got your active tags, which have their own battery. They can broadcast a signal for hundreds of meters, but they're a bit pricey. But the really common ones, the ones that are everywhere, are passive tags. And these are genius. They have no battery at all. They're actually powered up by the reader's radio waves, which makes them super tiny, super cheap, and perfect for just about everything, even with a shorter range. So for one of those passive tags, the whole process is like this simple three-step dance. First, the reader sends out a pulse of energy. Step 2, the tag's tiny antenna grabs that energy, kind of like a solar panel for radio waves. Then, step 3, it uses that little jolt of power to wake up and shout its data back to the reader. It's a whole conversation happening without any batteries at all. Pretty cool, right?
So just how big is this technology? Well, welcome to the world it tracks. Get this. In 2024 alone, it's estimated that over 50 billion RFID tags were sold. To put that in perspective, that's more than 6 brand new tags for every single person on the planet this year.
And you're not going to believe where this all started. The ancestor of this tech was actually a passive Soviet spy tool from way back in 1945. But the first real patent for something we'd recognize didn't show up until 1973 for a toll device. The real game changer, though, that came in 2004 with something called the EPC Gen 2 standard. That basically created a universal language for all tags and readers, and that's what sparked the global explosion we see today.
And because of that standard, its uses today are just everywhere. We're talking managing massive supply chains, preventing theft in stores, and even identifying livestock and our pets. It's in our ski passes, our credit cards, our library books, our passports. It even keeps track of underground gas pipelines. I mean, basically, if it moves or needs to be counted, there's a really good chance RFID is on the job. And the scale of its use is just mind-boggling. On one end of the spectrum, you've got these tiny tags sewn into individual shirts and jeans to track them from the factory floor. And on the other end, you have millions of tags managing entire public library systems, allowing for things like self-checkout and lightning-fast inventories. Okay, but just how small can these things get? Well, researchers have successfully glued tiny little transponders onto live ants. Yeah, you heard me right, live ants, just to study how they behave. That's how ridiculously small and lightweight this tech has become. Now, not all RFID is created equal. It all depends on the frequency, kind of like picking the right tool for the right job. You've got low frequency, which is for really close-range stuff, like scanning your pet's microchip. Then there's high frequency, which works for things like your passport and credit cards, with a range of up to a meter. And finally, you have the big one, ultra-high frequency. This is the long-range workhorse used in supply chains to scan whole pallets of goods from over 10 meters away. All right, so now we're going to get to the most personal and maybe the most controversial application of this technology, putting it inside of us. Yeah, let's talk about humans and microchips. The first time this ever happened, officially, was actually for an art project. Back in 1997, an artist named Eduardo Koch had a microchip implanted live on TV for a piece he called Time Capsule. But, it moved from art to the real world incredibly fast. The FDA gave it the green light for human use in 2004.
A nightclub in Barcelona even used implants for their VIPs to pay for drinks. Then a British scientist famously proved that his own implant could get infected with a computer virus. And today, they're actually used in some hospitals to store patient data.
So, all of this convenience, all of this utility, it naturally leads to a really serious debate. Where do we draw the line between convenience and control? I mean, that's the central question in a world where everything, and maybe everyone, could eventually be tagged.
And this really gets to the heart of the conflict. On one side, you have the incredible ease of secure travel with a modern passport. But on the other, there's a growing concern about surveillance and who's watching. These really are the two sides of a very, very powerful coin. For people worried about privacy, the number one fear is being tracked without knowing it. Since these tags can be read silently from a distance, the risk is that your data could be skimmed, your purchases could be logged, and a really detailed picture of your life could be built, all without you ever knowing or agreeing to it.
And these concerns are so real that they've literally created a brand new market. You've all seen them, right? The RFID blocking wallet or passport sleeve. That's a direct response from consumers. It's designed to create a little shield around your cards to stop them from being read by just anyone.
So, from contactless payments to tracking ants, RFID is this quiet, powerful force shaping our world. It's not a question of if we'll use it, it's already woven into the fabric of our lives. The real question is, where is it all going next? As this tech gets even more deeply integrated into everything we do, what are the boundaries we're going to need to set?